So what's up, everybody? My name is Thomas Mark Zuniga, going by Tom everywhere else, literally everywhere else. Why do I do this? Why do I intentionally create all these different identity crises? I like to make my life difficult is what I've learned over the years. Curses. So I wanted to make a follow-up video to my last video, which is by far the most vulnerable thing I've ever put. I don't want to say put on the internet, but at least the most vulnerable video, I would say, that I've ever put on the internet. Yeah, I talked about the Boy Erased movie that I had just seen 24 hours prior, and just how much that really stirred inside of me. Like, do you guys ever watch a movie or read a book or see a scene in a TV show or something, and it just kicks something? It dislodges something inside of you, and it just like creates a cascade of emotions that maybe you saw coming, maybe you didn't see coming. I sort of knew something was coming when I started watching that movie, that this could possibly unravel and destroy some things. But I will say it was good. It was so good to, first of all, to watch the movie, to be more informed and educated about issues of reparative therapy and sexual identity and LGBT people in the church and out of the church. It was great to just experience that movie for that aspect alone. And then beyond that, yeah, it was an amazing time of self-reflection and prayer and meditation and ultimately of support, because I already knew, and I said it in the video, that I'm so blessed and I'm so supported by just an incredible family, an incredible network of friends and literal supporters, literal people, not literal people. Well, yeah, literal people. But people like literally supporting me with their finances and with their prayers, with their spiritual support. And in the aftermath of that video, that was just made super clear, as if it wasn't already. So I just wanted to say thank you, ultimately. Like, thank you for everybody who did reach out and shot me an email or a message or a text or whatever. Like, it was encouraging in those ensuing days of posting that video that, yeah, just to be reminded that I am indeed loved. You know how I talked about having that compunction in the last video, that I just like felt like this had to come out. I needed to make a video and I needed to put it out there. I kind of feel a similar compunction just about videos in general. I've been blogging for 8 years now. Gosh, has it been that long? 8 or 9 years, something like that. Crazy. And my video channel has always just been very sporadic, very like, oh, I feel like posting a video about visiting this place or going on this adventure or this vulnerable mess. And lately, ever since posting that video for Boy Erased, I just kind of feel compelled to be a little more intentional, to be a lot more intentional actually, about making videos and putting videos out there. And I kind of wanted to get y'all's feedback and y'all's thoughts. I've been tossing around this idea of like a series for my channel, because I do videos for Your Other Brothers. I do monthly Manly Monday videos is what we call them, which are kind of like part not sermon, but part like messagey. Usually I'll read out a scripture and relate that to some kind of story in my life. And so that's the basic format of Manly Monday. And then I also do a thing called State of the Yob, which is, yeah, just like a monthly roundup of all the blogs and podcasts, videos, and other content that we put out on Your Other Brothers for that previous month. So I do those 2 videos every single month for Yob. And I thought about, at least for now, starting out, possibly doing a monthly video for my channel. As y'all know from the start of this video, I like to go by Thomas Mark Zuniga, which has become my pen name. And so I like the idea of playing with that and playing with my middle name in particular. And so I've been tossing around the ideas for what this could be, whatever this is, of something, calling it something like On the Mark or Off the Mark. I kind of like Off the Mark better, because I'm certainly not on any kind of mark right now. But I like the idea of Off the Mark for lots of reasons. You know, I've always felt like I'm off the mark. There is kind of this like self-deprecating, the self-deprecating, woe is me, melancholic, you know, poor Enneagram 4, like he's just so different and special. Which, yes, I can play that up sometimes. I acknowledge my faults and I'm working on them. But there is a legitimate thing to be said that I inherently feel insecure most of the time. Rarely do I feel confident. Rarely do I feel like I'm hitting the mark, or I'm on any kind of a mark. I'm not going to lie and pretend like I am. Maybe that's the whole point. Maybe that's the whole point of being off the mark, is realizing that ultimately none of us are on the mark. As a follower of Jesus, like, I believe the whole essence of being on the mark rests on him, that he puts me on the mark, essentially, because without him directing my life, without him restoring my life, I am so far gone. And I think Off the Mark as a video series can potentially give me more outlets and avenues for examining the ways that I feel messed up or the ways that I feel separate, and the ways that Jesus kind of closes that gap in a bizarre, obvious way. I mean, that last video is an example. Like, I was a teary, snotty mess for 15 minutes. And so many people could probably look at that and say, oh my gosh, this guy, what is wrong? He just watched a movie and it like broke him apart. What is wrong with this person? And ultimately, in the aftermath of filming it and editing it, putting it together, putting it out there, uploading it, there's a sense of accomplishment when I look at my brokenness on a screen. Because I've seen my brokenness in blogs and I've seen my brokenness in books. Like, I've had literal pages. In fact, I did a blog post a little while ago where I actually tore pages from my book and did a photo shoot with everything being torn apart from my Struggle Central book. It was a blog post about like feeling a lot of shame about coming out on a public scale and wishing I could take it back a lot of times. And so there was a lot of drama. Because y'all know me, I'm a drama king. But yeah, in the midst of brokenness, getting so many messages from people who have been there and are there in similar places with their faith and their sexuality, and balancing the two and walking what I called the third road. I'm not trying to change their orientation, not going that route, which was depicted in the movie, but also feeling called to something greater than maybe the rest of the world would say to do with our sexuality. Walking this third path, even though I feel really broken and I feel so far off the mark. In many ways that makes me feel like I'm right where I'm supposed to be, that I'm in acknowledging that I'm so broken and so far gone in so many ways. There's not a day I wake up thinking that I have any sense of control, that I grab life by the horns and create my own destiny and I create my own happy ending and my own happy life. Like, no. Every single day I am reliant on something, someone greater than myself. And that's the beauty about struggle, because when you come to grips with your struggle and you do enough work, and I've been in therapy for several months now, for the first time in my life, and it's been fantastic, you start to realize how messed up you are, how much you need a higher power. And I choose to believe in one God, one Father, one Son, one Spirit, mysteriously one, and that's who I lean on every day. And it's a powerful thing when you come to grips with your brokenness and you come to grips with someone who can save you and fill you and restore you and give you purpose. In that sense, I've never felt more on the mark. So maybe it's both. Maybe it's off the mark and on it simultaneously. So whatever this turns into, and this is very early in the process, I don't know, I'm excited to see where it goes. I want to be consistent. I want to make these videos and process life with you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are processing life with me, and so I want this to be a collaborative venture. So join me as we go off the mark, as we go on the mark, as we bounce back and forth. It'd be an honor to have you along. So until next time. Is that how you hold a bow and arrow? I have no idea. I don't archery.